Ladies and gentlemen, rapper Jose Cochado.
When we were together, I thought we was gonna last forever. Things changed, which made you strange. It's like you did a 360 and it made you a whole different person when you first met me. I even stand and pray to God and I thanked him for sending me a Cupid. It's crazy how you play me out, but I'm not stupid. You heard me bad inside. You promised me that you was never gonna leave my side. I remember that you mentioned that you wanted us to last. What you did was wrong. Now I moved on so I can forget about the past. Before we were together, my life was incomplete. When you made me official, I got back on my feet. I felt like the happiest man alive. To be real for a girl like you, I thought you was gonna be true. You wasn't playing the game, but later on I noticed you did the same. Just like the others. The games you played made the relationship fade. Your love, your style, and talk was all fake. The games you played made the relationship fade. Your love, your style, and talk was all fake. The games you played made the relationship fade. Your love, your style, and talk was all fake. The games you played made the relationship fade. Your love, your style, and talk was all fake. I cared for you so much, that's why I always kept in touch. You accepted me and all my needs, but I did one thing good. I accepted your seed. That's one lifetime thing. I know you never come across something good like that. You took advantage of the trust that I gave you and played me like if I was a fool. Our relationship was all about loving, caring, and one key word, trust. I thought you was gonna be different from other girls. I guess I thought wrong. Now I'm expressing on this song. I've been through a lot with females like you. I'm sick and tired of you being one of the lames that did the game. No, never really understood each other. I thought we was meant because I really want to spend the rest of my life with you. But you became friends with that random guy. I feel as though he was putting things in your head. So the relationship we had, so it could be dead. But I'm just gonna leave it up in God's hands and let him decide what's gonna happen next. I understand things happen for a reason, but there was no point of you cheating. If you have something good in your hands, hold on to it and never let it go. You know I had a lot of bad experiences in my past. You know you was one of the worst. I feel as though it was a curse. It's a shame all this happened to an end. I moved on so I could live a better life. And that guy, I hope he was worth it, because you'll never find another guy like me. Made the relationship fade. Your love, your style, and talk was all fake. The games you played made the relationship fade. Your love, your style, and talk was all fake. The games you played made the relationship fade. Your love, your style, and talk was all fake. The games you played made the relationship fade. Your love, your style, and talk was all fake.
Hi, welcome to Entre, Nosotros on CCP TV, the educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I'm your host, Gilberto Gonzalez. My guest today is Rebecca Gitana Torres, founder of Lifestyle Remix and Lifestyle Remix TV. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. How, first generation Latina, second generation, how did you come to be here?
I'm first generation Boricua, Puerto Rican, born in Brooklyn, raised in the Bronx, and now I reside in Queens. Yeah, I grew up, New York City, a really big mixture of having my parents come from the island and also being infused with everything that New York City has to offer.
Cool, cool. And then tell a little bit more about that journey. So like growing up in New York, then like schools and...
Growing up in New York, living very creatively. My mom, she always had art supplies for us. We always had crayons and markers and, Play-Doh and things to make stuff. So we were always very busy. And although we weren't maybe like monetarily well off, my mom always made sure we had a library card. And
really?
Yeah, we always had a library. I mean, 5 years old, the moment I turned 5, it was like a rite of passage. We're going to get your library card. you know, the library card and always taking us to museums and exposing us to the world. And she always instilled in us that no matter where you come from, like that doesn't have to just be everything that you are.
Mm-hmm. So then, so that's your family now. Now you get into interior design. Is that the first?
Well, interior design doesn't come till a lot later. But as a young girl, I always had a knack for style, for, you know, yes, interior design, fixing my room a certain way. One time I got in trouble because I went to a lady's house and they left me alone in a room and I rearranged the whole room.
Oh my God.
And then she came back. It was an older woman, so she was very particular about her things. And I had to put it all back. And the whole time I was putting it back, I was thinking to myself, like, don't you see how I made it better? You know, but again, growing up, you know, a lot of times for first and second generation, I think Latinos, the goal is, or what your parents tell you, is to get a good job with benefits, you know, and that's kind of the push. They want to make sure you're secure. And so I did that, and I wound up working at my alma mater, my high school in the South Bronx High School. And, you know, I did that. I basically got my foot in the door and got my, you know, my summers off, my benefits, dental, medical. But somewhere along the way, actually 6 years into that journey, I realized I had like, I don't know, an epiphany, I guess. I like to call it a quarter-life crisis. But I had a moment where I was sitting at my desk and I just kind of realized that I wasn't quite living up to everything that I could be.
Right, but you're working, you're giving back to the community in a way because you're working in your community.
Yes.
So like, was that like fulfilling? Like, was it not? Or like what happened? Like, what was that point?
Yeah, for me, like I said, working in the school, I really loved working with the community, and I did a lot of community outreach. I worked directly with the attendance program, and I actually established that. And attendance is everything to do with, if the kids aren't coming to school, they're not learning, right? And if they're not learning, what's happening? So that was really great. And when I was leaving, I actually had like a little moment in time where I felt guilty for like wanting to leave the school. And then I realized that probably the best thing that I could do was show the kids that at any time you could switch it up and you could go and pursue what it is that you wanted. And so, yeah, going back to community outreach, now, today, I have the ability to go back and speak in schools and career days and, you know, girls' clubs. And
so you still went back? You still,
always.
Even though you went out, and then you still went back. So tell me a little bit more about that journey, about when you left, and how was that?
It was crazy because, I mean, I was living on my own and I am now quitting my job. So what does that mean, right? Who's going to pay my bills? What's going to happen? Who's going to, you know, and I had never been to college. When I graduated high school, it was wild. When I graduated high school, there was no opportunity for me to go to school at that time. My parents were divorcing. Everything was very up in the air. And I had to fend for myself and start working. And so at that moment, I'm like, you know, a 25-year-old girl at that time, thinking to myself, wow, now I have to figure out how to apply for school. But luckily, and this is like the power of like leaving those breadcrumb trails, my younger sister had started college. So she was able to kind of help me and to show me like I could do it. And putting together my portfolio and going to FIT, which is the Fashion Institute of Technology, one of the most, you know, world-recognized schools for design. And I went in there with my portfolio, and I don't know if I had the best portfolio in the room or not, but what I do know was that my passion was, I just knew it was for me. I knew like I had to get there. And I think that's part of what got me in. And I always tell that to young people, like, you don't have to necessarily be the most talented, but if you have passion and you are so just behind yourself, things can happen for you.
So so you can find yourself, struggle, and just keep pushing, and
Yeah, you have to.
You have to, because that sounds like what you did. You just kept pushing and.
Yeah,
And
and sorry, and I realized honestly, Gil, the thing that convinced me was that I realized like I wouldn't be the first person to make a leap in leaving their job and just pursuing their passions, and that those people that did it, they were no more special than I was. And that was kind of like the only, I don't know, every time I got scared, I was like, wait a second, you know, like they're not better than me, they're not more special. And that's kind of what kept pushing me.
Cool. So then, like once you were at FIT, how was that experience? Like, where did that take you?
Well, the experience with FIT was so transformational because, again, never going to school and now being able to be in this environment. But it was very difficult because I was by myself, still having to support myself and do design school all at the same time.
So you worked?
Yeah, I had to.
Wow.
So, and yeah, it was crazy, but you can do it, you know? But while I was there, I almost saw another pattern happening, which is like everybody getting on the same bandwagon of, you know, get a job, get a this, get a that. And everybody that was in school with me, they were looking forward to maybe working for one of these big design firms. Like that was the prize. And the teachers would use that as a motivation, like, oh, you know, these big design firms, this is what they're looking for. And me being the rebel that I am, I was kind of like, I don't know if I didn't leave my job and everything to jump on somebody else's dream ship. So somewhere before I even finished the second year, I got hired to design a bar in Midtown Manhattan.
Wow.
Which was crazy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and the way that I got that job was I was actually waitressing at a bar in Midtown, and the guy that owned that bar wound up picking up another bar, and I was just kind of like, hey, hey, I'm going to school for design, hey, and he gave it to me. So I think that's another big lesson for young people, like never discount where you're at and your behavior or how you're putting yourself out there to who's watching and what like opportunities can come your way. You just never know.
So he gave you the opportunity to design his new place.
Yes.
And how was that?
That was amazing. I mean, it was a 2-story bar and kind of thing like, okay, this is what I want, but I gotta go, here are the keys kind of thing. And yeah, it was amazing. I got to hire all the guys that work there, which was a new experience being a young woman, now dealing with men on a business, you know, tip, and them having to, you know, take orders, if you will, or take direction from a young woman. So I really had to learn, you know, how to communicate well.
Were there some bumps?
Yeah, there were, but I just kept pushing forward, and I knew that I can do it. So you got to take things like bite by bite.
Right. And what did the work entail? Like what?
The work entailed hiring all the workers, dealing with their contracts, negotiating prices.
Wow.
Figuring out what my design plan was going to be, budgeting my money, in some cases even teaching the guys that I hired the techniques that I wanted, whether it was like a paint technique or to picking out the toilet seats. I did it all. Yeah. Very
cool. Very cool. So now you have this great experience. So like, is that what you want to do, interior design for the rest of your life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I did this bar. We had a huge opening party and the whole deal. And although I was very proud of myself for accomplishing that, there was part of me that I didn't feel satisfied. I thought to myself like, okay, this is great. I did this bar, and I had also done a residential project all at the same time. But I realized like something hit me, like nobody's life is gonna change because I designed a bar in Midtown. Like sure, maybe, you know, there might be some romance or fun times and laughter, but nobody's life was really gonna change. And I definitely knew at the time that part of my purpose was to to help things grow, you know, and to help people grow and to just like spread love and goodness. So I had to figure out how my passions were going to all combine themselves into something.
So did you finish your studies at FIT?
Actually, I never went back.
Never went back?
I never went back. I finished all my design courses there, and then it was up to the history and the sciences and everything else. And, you know, I appreciate school, and I think that people should really take school seriously. But I have to say, and this is the rebel in me, part of me acknowledges also the business of school. And there's a lot of girls and students that I went to school with that have their 4-year in interior design, and they're not working in interior design right now, and they have a lot of student loans. So, you know, again, it's not to discourage from school. If you're not going to finish, you better have a plan, and you better be working on other things. And I'm a student of life. I'm very self-taught. I read a lot, I study a lot, and I got the homework to prove it.
All right, so then tell me about, so you did that whole thing and then you created something.
Yes, so after that, I'm doing a few more design projects and here and there. But I really saw a need and felt a gap for myself of lifestyle programming that was for us. And by us, I mean Latinos. You know, we have Martha Stewart, you know, shout out, she's great. But I don't look at Martha Stewart and see a reflection of me or my culture. So, you know, since my early, you know, late teens even, people would always make that kind of reference when I would do things on the holidays or, oh, you like Martha Stewart, you know? And so, yeah, I figured I can really show people how to live a little bit more creatively and living well, and the fact that you don't really have to have a lot of money to do that. It's not really about money at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So tell me, I guess we can go in a couple of directions, but tell me about like everything you just described. What would, when you look at someone like me, what would you say? I'm gonna remix you or mix you up, you know?
Yes,
like,
the whole lifestyle remix.
There you go, yeah.
Yes, the lifestyle remix is really the notion that at any time we can remix the way that we're living. We can live our life to a whole new beat, right? How boring would it be if you're singing the same song every day in your head, right? So you got to constantly, you know, add an extra little, you know, little ritmo in there, right? Every now and again. So it's the same thing with our life. And it's interiors and your home and your space and how you're living, but it's also remixing your thoughts and, you know, your thought patterns, your beliefs, expanding your mind. So it's a full remix, you know. You can live in a beautiful space, but if you're thinking the same old thoughts, nothing's really gonna be fabulous or fantastic about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So give me an example.
An
like
example?
of like, I don't know, like, yeah, like remixing me. Like say, okay, Gil, like the way I look or,
yeah,
you know,
okay.
change my face.
Change your face. Let's say you came to me and you were like, you know, Rebecca, I want to remix my lifestyle. And yeah, sometimes it might be, you know, the way you're dressing. You might want to prepare yourself for a new role in life. Sometimes you might want to think more about your health. So putting attention to your body and your clothes can make you think about your health and exercise and your home as well. You know, our home is home base. It's the mothership, right? So if your mothership is out of whack, chances are other things in your life might be a little out of whack too. So yeah, so it depends, you know,
right.
come
So-
into your space and.
So one of the things that interests me from a conversation before was that you talked about like how color can impact,
Yes.
you know, and I was like, wow, that really, you know, I'm an artist, but I never realized that you know the color of your space could be so impactful.
Yeah, color therapy is very trippy because it's so real. Color therapy is all about how colors have an effect on how we feel. And it even goes deeper into that with our chakras and the colors of our chakras and all kinds of things. But this is not new. This is something that's been around for a very, very long time. I mean, even if anytime you go to a hospital or you go to a spa, you'll notice that there's a large presence of green. Sometimes it's that yucky, minty, weird hospital green, but it's green. If you go to a spa, you'll often see sage greens, earthy green tones. That's because green is a color that's a healing color. It's a color that revitalizes you. Wow. If we look at stop signs, they're red because red brings attention, right? It's a powerful color. Red is a color of ambition. It's a color of power. So yeah, colors definitely do have an effect. And the way I bring colors into my clients' lives is I do a whole analysis with them. We talk about their goals and dreams. We talk about ailments. We talk about their birthday and astrological signs. And I basically come up with color palettes that would best suit their lifestyle.
So like, for example, like there, when you go to Mexico, you go to the Caribbean, and then you come back here, right?
Yes.
Then, you see the colors are so like different. I mean, they're not even close.
Yeah.
So like as a Latino, like how do those colors impact me, or where do they even come from?
Yeah. Well, the colors definitely impact. Like you said, you go to the Caribbean and you're surrounded by aquas and you're surrounded by earth tones and greenery. And then you come to New York City and it's like gray and, you see the materials and textures are harder, right? Yeah. So that's why it's important even with our clothing or, you can bring color therapy with you anywhere. It could be in a bag. It could be in your socks. You can have some wild color socks on that day, but that could be your color therapy. You can also do color therapy with lighting, switching out a light bulb, So there's a lot of different ways that you can make that work for you.
Wow. Well, so tell me a little bit about the remix, like the lifestyle remix and the lifestyle remix show.
Yes. So lifestyle remix on a whole, there's a few things about it. One is people can work with me and have me help them to remix their lifestyle one-on-one. And then the other way that I want to be able to help really the world and everyone and have like a together experience is through Lifestyle Remix TV. And Lifestyle Remix TV is all things living well and living creatively. And it's cooking, it's DIY stuff, it's lifestyle inspiration, it's feng shui, it's color therapy, it's audience viewers writing in with their lifestyle and design questions, even love and relationship questions. And it really is a conversation for us to celebrate our life and our lifestyle. And it's programming that's going to refocus people back on their lives. I think sometimes a lot of the television that we watch, we're just watching other people living, like the reality TV, and you get into this imaginary space. But I hope that Lifestyle Remix TV will bring people back to themselves.
Rebecca, so today you brought a little clip. Could you tell us a little bit about the clip?
Sure. The clip is Lifestyle Remix TV, our new season, and it's all things, like I said, living well, living creatively. You're going to see me in the kitchen, cooking. We do sofrito. You see me in the garden, teaching people how to be an urban gardener, DIY stuff, home decor, lifestyle inspiration, and mucho, mucho más.
Great. All right. So let's check out this clip.
La cámara está rolando.
Hola, mi gente. Welcome. Hello. Sometimes your kitchen needs to become a discotheque. Hey guys, welcome back to my creative cocina, and today we are going to do something. We're gonna do a traditional café con leche. Let's pass on the traditions. That's what it's all about. That's what cooking is about. That's what preserving our cuisines and our flavor, you know, our flavor. You got sofrito. One of the best ways to channel positive and healthy earth energy is by having a garden. No matter how small your place is, you can have a garden. You can luxuriate in a garden, guys. Trust me. There are many ways that we can feng shui our home, and one way that we may never think of is by clearing out our drains. Kids, make sure that you have a grown-up in the room. We are going to get rid of this paper clutter once and for all. Remix! The dishes are never done. I'm gonna give you 3 really quick tips to help dishes become a lot better for you. Housework. Today's Remix Your Lifestyle question comes from Carrie. And Carrie writes, Gitana, I love the color red and I want to make it part of my home decor. How do I do it without being loud or tacky? I just want to feel red hot, she says. Today's question comes from someone anonymously. This is a love and relationship question.
Great, that was an awesome clip. Now tell me a little bit about the sofrito.
The sofrito. You have to watch to find out. It's a step-by-step recipe. It's my grandmother's recipe. And every kitchen needs to know and needs to have a jar of sofrito in it.
Oh, I agree. I agree totally with that.
Yes.
So if people want to get in touch with you,
yes,
or find out more about the remix, which is amazing, where would they do that?
Yes, for anyone that wants to get in on the action and remix their lifestyle as well, you can find me at lifestyleremix.com. We have a whole new season and lifestyle inspiration for you guys. So we really hope to see everybody there.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's all the time we have today. I would like to thank my guest, Gitana Torres, for joining me. And I would like to thank you for tuning in. You have been watching Entre Nosotros on CCP TV, the educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I'm your host, Gilberto Gonzalez. See you next time.